How do we get good at communicating during our business transformation programs? We all know that good communication is vital to the success of any business transformation program, but how do we get past the simple messages to being effective at communication? Early on in my career, I worked for a major automotive company, and one of the businesses in the company was a make-to-print business. They wanted to get good at introducing new products into the organisation, into taking the customer designs and making them into manufacturable products. And they wanted to look at the process they used and the organisation for doing this. A project team was established, and I was an advisor to that project team. At the end of the proposal stage, they made a presentation to the senior leadership team, and this was quite detailed and quite a long presentation. And at the end of it was a time for questions, and one of the questions was asked by a young lad who I remember was off to my right hand side, and his question was, what happened to the design office in your proposals? The team replied that it didn't have a place in their proposals going forward. The lad blanched and the discussion moved on. I was surprised by this exchange because I had expected that the project team would have ironed out those concerns before it got to such a public forum. So I asked one of my colleagues on the project team afterwards, what did he make of the exchange? He explained that that was the fourth time the lad had heard the presentation and the first time he'd understood that his department didn't have a future in the organisation. This shows how complicated and difficult communication can be at these times. I'm afraid that's how it is, we just have to live with it. But we can get better if we follow a few basic rules. Firstly, we need to think about our audience and make sure that in all the difficult communication, the few simple messages get across, the messages they need to hear. Secondly, we do need to use the question time effectively, not just in answering the questions that people ask, but to listen to why they're asking things, and in particular to the answer to the question, what does this mean to me? But we need to go a bit further than that. We need to not just watch for that, but we need to watch for their reactions, and we need to be careful of assuming that just because there's not much challenge, it doesn't mean that people don't have concerns. And we particularly need to watch out when that's the case, whether they've really heard the basic message. And we can use the question time to ask questions of the audience to check in a subtle way whether they've really understood what it means to them. So overall, communication during these times will be difficult, but most importantly, if we learn to listen to our audience as well as speaking at them, then we can learn how to become more effective.